In February of 2025, Andrej Karpathy gave the world a phrase: vibe coding. You describe what you want, the AI writes it. You don't read every line, you just go with the vibe. 1 year later, on stage at Sequoia's AI Ascent, the man who coined it said something stranger. He said, vibe coding is already obsolete, and that he, of all people, has never felt more behind as a programmer. Here is what he actually meant, and why it should change how you build.
Having coined the term vibe coding last year, but just in the last few months, he said something even more startling, that he's never felt more behind as a programmer. That's where we're starting today. Thank you, Andrej, for joining us.
Yeah, hello. Excited to be here and to kick us off.
Okay, so just a
Karpathy traces the shift to a single month, December 2025. Something flipped. The models stopped handing him snippets to fix and started handing him whole features that just worked. He says he can't remember the last time he had to correct the output. The unit of programming changed. It went from typing lines of code to delegating a job. Implement this feature, refactor this subsystem. By his own estimate, he now hands roughly 80% of the actual coding to agents. That is why a world-class engineer says he feels behind. Not because he got worse, but because the job moved underneath him. And the people who adapt fastest are the ones pulling ahead.
this. If that's actually true, what does a team build differently the day they actually believe this?
Right. So, yeah, exactly. So software 1.0, I'm writing code. Software 2.0, I'm...
To see where it moved, Karpathy zooms out to 3 eras of software. Software 1.0 is code you write by hand. Explicit rules, line by line. Software 2.0 is the neural network. You don't write the logic, you arrange the data and train the weights. Software 3.0 is the new one. You program in plain English. The prompt is the program. The context window is the lever. And the large language model is the interpreter that runs your intent. His key claim is that this is not just faster software, it is a whole new kind of computer. And the teams that truly believe that start building completely differently.
So MenuGen is this idea where you come to a restaurant, they give you a menu, there's no pictures usually, so I don't know what any of these things are. Usually, I like 30% of the things I have no idea what they are, 50%. So I wanted to take a photo of the restaurant menu and to get pictures.
Here is how extreme that gets. Karpathy built a little app called MenuGen. You photograph a restaurant menu, and it shows you a picture of every dish. The first version was a real stack, optical character recognition to read the text, an image generator for the pictures, a user interface, hosting on Vercel, code he had to write and maintain. Then he saw the software 3.0 version, and it blew his mind. You just hand the photo to one multimodal model, and it gives you back the menu with images. The whole app, the OCR, the glue code, the infrastructure, it simply evaporates. The model is the application.
That people actually think are safe, but they're actually highly verifiable.
Yeah, so I spent some time writing about verifiability, and basically like traditional computers can easily automate what you can specify in code. And
so why are these models brilliant at some things and hopeless at others? Karpathy's answer is one word: verifiability. Old computers could automate anything you could specify in code. This new generation automates anything you can verify. That is because the labs train them inside giant reinforcement learning environments. The model tries something, it gets a reward when the answer checks out, and it improves. Anywhere you can write an automatic grader like math, code, and tests, progress is explosive. Anywhere you can't easily check the answer, progress crawls. So the real question about your own work is not, is it creative? It is it verifiable? Because the verifiable work is moving first.
jagged entities that really peak in capability in kind of like verifiable domains like math and code and adjacent, and kind of like stagnate and are a little bit rough around the edges when things are not kind of like in that space. So I think the reason I wrote about verifiability is I'm trying to understand why these things.
That uneven training produces what Karpathy calls jagged intelligence. The same model that can refactor a 100,000 line code base or hunt down a security flaw will confidently tell you there are two R's in the word strawberry. It peaks in verifiable domains like math and code, and it falls off a cliff almost everywhere else. The capability is not a smooth line, it is a jagged skyline, towering peaks right next to surprising valleys. And if you don't know where the valleys are, that is exactly where the model will quietly burn you.
Versus ghosts. And the idea is that we're not building animals, we are summoning ghosts. And these are jagged forms of intelligence that are shaped by data and reward functions, but not by intrinsic motivation or fun or curiosity or empowerment.
Karpathy also has a mental model for what these things really are. We are not building animals, he says. We are summoning ghosts. An animal is shaped by evolution. It has instincts, curiosity, a will to survive. A ghost has none of that. It is a statistical echo of human text, shaped only by data and reward. No intrinsic motivation, no real understanding of why. He argues this framing matters a lot. If you expect a human colleague, you will overtrust it. But if you remember, it is a ghost, powerful, fluent, and deeply jagged, you will use it far more wisely.
I would say vibe coding is about raising the floor for everyone in terms of what they can do in software. So the floor rises, everyone can vibe code anything, and that's amazing, incredible. But then I would say agentic engineering is about preserving the quality bar of what existed before in professional software. So you're not allowed to introduce vulnerabilities due to vibe coding.
Which brings us to the headline. What is the difference between vibe coding and what we are in now? Karpathy puts it in one picture. Vibe coding raises the floor. Anyone with no experience at all can now describe an idea and get working software. And that is genuinely amazing. But agentic engineering is the opposite move. It raises the ceiling. It is a professional discipline. You are not allowed to ship vulnerabilities just because you vibe coded them. You are still responsible for your software exactly as you were before. The promise is that you can go much faster, but only if you do it properly.
A bit fallible, a little bit stochastic, but they are extremely powerful. And it's how do you coordinate them to go faster without sacrificing your quality bar? And doing that well and correctly.
So what does properly actually look like? Karpathy describes the agents as spiky entities. Fallible, a little random, but extremely powerful. Agentic engineering is the craft of coordinating them without ever lowering your quality bar. In practice, that means you own the spec. You supervise the plan. And you actually read the diffs before they get merged. You make the judgment calls a model can't, like choosing a stable user ID instead of matching people by their email. And you redesign your tools for agents as the users. Clean command line interfaces, APIs, structured logs, machine readable schemas. Remember the old 10x engineer? Karpathy thinks that multipliers is now far, far higher.
About it like every other day. It was something along the lines of you can outsource your thinking, but you can't outsource your understanding. And
I think that's really nicely put.
But there is a catch, and it might be the most important line of the entire talk. Karpathy keeps returning to one sentence. You can outsource your thinking, but you can't outsource your understanding. You can hand the typing, the syntax, and the boilerplate to an agent. What you cannot hand off is knowing what you are building, why it is worth doing, and whether the result is actually correct. He admits that he himself has become the bottleneck, not in writing the code, but in understanding the system well enough to direct it. Understanding is the one thing that does not get automated. So if you take just one thing from Karpathy, take this. The engineer of 2026 is not measured by how much code they write. That part is now nearly free. They are measured by what they understand. taste, judgment, system design, and the ability to catch the subtle error that a confident ghost slips right past you. Vibe coding got you in the door. Agentic engineering is how you stay valuable once you are inside. So learn to direct, not just to type. Keep your hand on the spec, the security, and the quality bar. And treat every agent as exactly what it is, a brilliant, jagged ghost that still needs a human who genuinely understands. If you want to go deeper, I put 4 guides in the description on Claude Code, on OpenAI Codex, on selling with Claude, and on the Claude certification. They are built to take you from vibe coding to real agentic engineering. I also made a free 1 page companion for this video, the Agentic Engineering Playbook, with the core ideas and a checklist you can actually use. To get it, just comment the word Agentic and I will send it straight to you. And if this finally made these ideas click, do 3 quick things. Subscribe here on YouTube and follow Hyperautomation Labs on Instagram and Facebook, where I break down this stuff every single day. I did the digging, so you don't have to. I'll see you in the next one.